Hi, I'd like to show you the example files that we're using for this demonstration. So this is a pretty common request for us. Folks want to calculate, how much, cash is being transacted by the appointments this week, how many events are happening, how many resources are being consumed. They want to add up things that are happening in the week. So let me kind of show you how this file is working. So first of all, let's pick just a week and go down here. And you can see right now there's already an issue here. The number of events, there's more than 2 events here. And the reason is that using this technique with relationships, it has a really hard time with blank values. So if I pick things that definitely have a resource, it'll work a lot better. And so now you can see we have 2 events here and 3 events here, but we don't have any total value yet. And the total value is living in a new field we added over here in view event record. So let's put in 150 over here. And then we can hit show event and calendar, and then I'll just kind of show it like this. So there we have our 150, and then let's add $50 over here. This is just to kind of show you how this is working, right? So there's 200. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to count what's happening in the week. We obviously don't have any value records in this week. We can put one over here, $10. These are this is a new field in the calendar. I just added it for the purposes of this demonstration, but you can take these files apart and see how we did this. So the idea is there are a bunch of different ways to do this, and this example uses relationships. So what's described in the blog post is making this relationship here to sample events that's both based on the date range, right, these 2 factors here, and the resource, and then this range refresh glob, which we use to tickle the relationship. And while this is how I normally think of things, and I think at least for my generation of FileMaker developers, this is kind of how we were taught to do things. This is not, in my opinion, the easiest or even the best way to do this. And I really like doing it with find requests. And the kind of quick reason for that is that as I add more filters or more criteria, I have to express them in this relationship, which means I'm always going to come back in here and edit this, which is difficult, for one, a little time consuming, and would be tough to do things like throw a switch on here that says only count weekdays. So that's kind of the dope on that. Doing it with finds is much easier. And let's just open up this file. And you can see that we don't have to filter for the number of resources here. This works whether we have resources filtered or not, because this version doesn't have any problem with blank values. I've done the same thing, like so 16, I don't know which items have any money on them, but we've kind of put this little field over here. So let's add 10 more. So that should go to 26 back in the calendar, right? And the number of events are being counted. And the way this one's done, if you look at the relationship graph, there's no difference. This is just the stock relationship in DayBack. But we've just kind of edited one script, and it's called event find. This is described in a lot more detail in the blog post. But we kind of come down here, and after we've found all the events, this is the key. After we've already done all this work and found everything, we kind of grab the summary fields we want, and we put them into globals. So we just kind of capture this information we're looking to catch, right? The total of the cache value and the number of events. We just grab this after we've performed all our finds and applied all our filters, which means as I keep making new filters or change things, this find request is always going to stay up to date. And if I wanted to go further and like say only weekends, I could do that in the script with a constraint, and it would be very fast. So our thesis here is that kind of doing this with finds is a lot simpler. There's definitely some pros and cons here, and the blog post goes into that. But having seen these movies, you can see what we're up to, and now you can take a look at the blog post and see which of these techniques you like. And putting this kind of stuff in your own file is really easy. Oh, and by the way, so where are these fields? DayBack is a web viewer, so here's the web viewer. We just moved it over, and this is just plain old FileMaker layout land over here. We just put some global fields on here. So it's really easy. You could put these above the web viewer, below the web viewer, to the left of the web viewer. I just put them over onto the right because it's kind of easy. And that's why DayBack is opening up with the stat bar covering. I think if we were to make this wider, we'd eventually get to a point where the calendar would come back out. There it is. And then it just slides under, so you can close the sidebar like that. Anyways, I hope you find the blog post useful, and thanks for checking this out.